All right, take a look. One of the easiest ways for you all to take notes when you're doing these type of tools, actually this is true for a lot of software, you don't want, when you're taking notes, you can do it in a sort of hieroglyphic format. So for example, check this out. What if I were asking you to draw the line command, do the line command? All right? If you were to take notes on how to do the line command, a person might write out, hit line button, and I didn't spell that right. Hit line button and do such and such. They might be tempted to write it out. But let me ask you a question. If you actually look up on the screen right now and I draw this, what does that mean to you?
Line.
Line. And why is that? It's the symbol. The symbol where? On your computer interface, right? Right. So if I hit the line button on my computer that looks like this, looks like this button right here, if I hit it, it activates the line command. So if I actually were to just draw this on my notes, this basically tells me I'm going to push what button on my screen? The line button. All right. So if that was step one, my next step, if I do the line command, would be this. The line command, when it first activates, the first thing it asks you to do is specify a point. Look at your cursor right now. It's got that crosshair, right? No box. So I might be tempted to make this symbol in my notes to say, hey, pick a point. In fact, on my notes, I might even write out this equals pick a point. And if I were to hit this button again, or do this command again, not the command, but the actual, if I actually were to look at it this way and say, line command, pick a point, escape, what have I made on the screen? A line, right? Now, did I have to write anything out? No, didn't have to do it at all. In fact, hieroglyphics work, in my form of what I call hieroglyphics, work really, really well with software and equipment. It's a lot easier. Now, watch this. Let's say I have a sequence that looks like this. Line button, pick a point. Let's say go east. Actually, it's probably easier just to do it this way. Just go right. "15 ENT ESC." What would you say this sequence creates? Do it. Well, it will for a second, but you actually will like this a little bit better. Think about that sequence. You hit the line button. Then, what does this symbol mean? Pick a point. Head to the right. Type in 15. What's that mean? Enter. What's that mean? Okay. So, let me go activate that. Let me go do this exact sequence. Let's see what happens. I go hit the line button. I pick a point. I go to the right. I type in 15. I hit enter and escape. What have I made? A line horizontal, 15 units, right? Now, what if I were to take that same sequence and just add a little extra to it? Line button, pick a point. We'll just abbreviate RI for right now, just to save me time. I'm writing this down. Right, 5. How about down, 4. Left, 5. And then C, enter. What do you think that does? Makes a square. Well, it's not a pure square. It's a rectangle technically, but it's really close to a square.
Yeah, or I meant a box.
Yeah, make a box. So I'm going to give you a tip. if you're going to take notes on how to do some of these commands, this is the absolute best way to do that. In fact, we have a file we put out there that is all the commands, all the primary commands that you use in this format so you can clearly and easily understand what to do. This is a lot easier than trying to write this out. You just have to know a couple things. First of all, you have to know that that equals pick a point. That means right. You can write down, left, and of course C is that close command that we've learned in the past. So let's just see if it works. I'm going to switch over. I'm going to hit the line button, head to the right, type in 5, hit enter, go down, type in 4, hit or enter, go left, 5, enter, C and enter, and there we go. Now you will notice I made one mistake. Technically I'm supposed to say enter after each of these numbers. Because you can type a number in and it doesn't actually do anything until you actually hit the enter key. So technically I've left out a couple little keys there. But that actually creates the box that is 5 by 4. So when you do this, you're going to find when you're taking notes on some of these tools, especially the more advanced stuff, it is in your best interest to do notes this way, because also, and especially if you say, like give it a title and say line to, make a box. If you give these little sequences a term on your notes, they're easier to find and it's easier to go through, because in quiz, test, or work situations, sometimes having your notes easy to find and understand is a good idea. Now you can write all that stuff out, it's just you'll find your brain works better with this stuff. So that's just a side tip that I wanted to show you on hieroglyphics. And like I said, we have a file that you can access that has all the commands kind of written out this way. So take a look at it when you get a chance. Check this out. So this is an example of some note taking associated with these AutoCAD commands to get stuff done. And you'll find it tells all the basic tools, especially out of like the draw and the modify panels. So for example, this is one that shows how to do a certain type of line command. This is one that shows how to do it. This is one, actually look at this command sequence. You recognize what that does?
An angle.
Line to length and angle, exactly. The one that you've done the previous. So anyway, we've got a file out there you can take a look at that has all these sequences sort of laid out as examples of how to do certain commands. So you can check that out at your leisure.